The moment she touched the piano keys, the room went quiet. Everyone expected a simple tune, maybe a few polite notes. But no one could have guessed what was about to happen. A famous pianist, known for his brilliance and strict standards, leaned down and whispered, "Play, just for fun." He didn't know her story, her struggles, or the secret gift she had carried silently for years. She was a young black girl, blind since birth, with a smile that hid a quiet confidence. Music wasn't just a hobby for her, it was a lifeline, a language that spoke louder than words ever could. Yet, in that moment, standing on a stage filled with seasoned musicians and critics, the pressure felt crushing. Could she really play for fun when everyone was watching, judging, expecting? Her fingers hovered above the keys, trembling slightly, and the pianist's eyes showed curiosity mixed with doubt. But then something incredible happened. A single note, soft and certain, broke the tension and the room felt it. It was a note that hinted at a talent far beyond anything anyone had seen before. What happened next would leave the audience gasping, questioning everything they thought they knew about music, talent, and the power of raw, untrained genius. The famous pianist, the blind girl, and the stage where destiny waited. Everything was about to collide in a moment no one would ever forget. She took a deep breath, letting the weight of the moment settle around her. The stage lights felt hotter than usual, but she barely noticed. Music had always been her escape, her way of seeing the world without seeing it at all. Growing up, she had learned to hear things others missed, the subtle shifts in rhythm, the hidden emotions behind a note, the way a melody could tell a story without words. Her small room at home was filled with old sheet music, hand-me-down instruments, and a dream that sometimes felt too big to hold. Her family had always encouraged her, even when others doubted. Her mother would hum songs while cooking. Her father tapped rhythms on the table, teaching her that music lived everywhere. But the world outside was less patient. Teachers often dismissed her, saying she should focus on realistic pursuits. People assumed blindness meant limitations, not potential. And yet, here she was, standing in front of one of the most critical audiences of her life, ready to defy every expectation. The famous pianist watched her with a mixture of skepticism and intrigue, shifting his weight on the bench. He had seen prodigies before, but there was something different about her, something raw, unpolished, almost dangerous in the way she approached the keys. A hush fell over the room as her fingers finally touched the piano again. Each note seemed to float, carrying a story that no one could predict. The crowd leaned forward, unsure whether to expect brilliance or mistake. And then, just as she began to play, a melody emerged, one that was haunting, mesmerizing, and completely unexpected. Everyone in that room would soon realize that this girl's gift was far beyond ordinary. But exactly what she would do next was still a mystery. The notes floated through the air, delicate but powerful, and the room seemed to hold its breath. The famous pianist's eyes widened, and a low murmur spread among the audience. Some were captivated by the beauty of her playing, while others whispered doubts. How could someone so young, blind, and inexperienced create such depth? Every key she pressed felt intentional, as if the music flowed directly from her soul rather than her fingers. Backstage, her mentor watched anxiously, aware of the pressure she was under. He knew her talent was extraordinary, but the world outside often judged brilliance harshly, especially when it came in unexpected packages. Critics had already written off many young performers for the slightest misstep. Here, the stakes were higher. A single wrong note could turn admiration into skepticism, yet her confidence seemed to grow with every chord, as if she drew strength from the doubts surrounding her. Meanwhile, the famous pianist was torn. He had built his career on precision and training, yet he couldn't deny the raw emotion and uncanny timing in her performance. Part of him wanted to stop her, to correct what he assumed were mistakes. But another part, something he hadn't felt in years, urged him to simply listen. There was tension not just in the room, but between them. Tradition versus instinct. Experience versus natural gift. Doubt versus wonder. The audience leaned in, caught in a strange mix of admiration and uncertainty. Every note teased what was coming next, and everyone felt that this was more than a performance. It was a revelation. But beneath the beauty, a quiet question lingered. Could this young blind girl truly rise above the expectations and disbelief surrounding her? Or would the pressure of the world crush her gift before it fully emerged? Her fingers moved faster now, gliding across the keys with a confidence that seemed impossible for someone so young. The music swelled, filling every corner of the hall, echoing off the walls, and weaving through the hearts of everyone listening. The famous pianist leaned closer, his skepticism replaced by something more complicated: curiosity, awe, and a hint of fear. He had never encountered a performance that challenged him like this, one that seemed to exist outside rules, technique, or expectation. Whispers rippled through the audience. Some were holding back tears, others wide-eyed in disbelief. People had come expecting a small, charming display, maybe a glimpse of promise, but what they were witnessing was something else entirely. Every note carried a story, every pause felt deliberate, as if she were speaking a language only music could express. It was beautiful, raw, and completely unpredictable. Backstage, her mentor's heart pounded. He had trained her, guided her, and protected her from doubt. But even he hadn't fully anticipated the intensity of this moment. He knew that once she reached the next section, everything could change. Either the world would finally see her for the genius she was, or the pressure might crack her focus. The famous pianist rose slightly from his bench, his hands trembling over the keys as if he wanted to join her, to guide her, yet feared he might interrupt the magic. The tension in the room was electric. Every audience member leaned forward instinctively, sensing that something monumental was about to unfold. The blind girl's eyes, though unable to see, reflected a determination that made the entire hall silent. Then, with a sudden shift in rhythm, she began a passage so intricate, so haunting, that it seemed impossible for anyone to play. The air itself felt charged. Hearts raced. The next few moments would define everything: her talent, her courage, and the legacy she was about to claim. Just as the melody reached its peak, a sudden, unexpected sound cut through the hall, a sharp, discordant note that no one anticipated. The blind girl froze for a fraction of a second, her fingers hovering over the keys, and the audience gasped. Whispers of confusion spread like wildfire. Some thought it was part of the composition, an intentional twist in her music, but others frowned, sensing something was wrong. The tension in the room grew almost unbearable. The famous pianist stiffened, leaning forward as if ready to intervene, yet unsure. He had never seen such control paired with such unpredictability. Could this be a mistake, or was it a bold choice that only someone with true genius could pull off? The young girl's hands trembled slightly, but then she smiled, a small, knowing smile. It was as if the discordant note had been a test, and she had seen it coming all along. Yet the question lingered: was this a miracle, or sheer luck? Backstage, her mentor's face turned pale. The unexpected note could be her downfall, or it could elevate her to legendary status. He watched anxiously, knowing the stakes had just multiplied. The critics in the audience shifted uneasily, their pens hovering over blank sheets, unsure whether to write praise or skepticism. And then, as if the challenge wasn't enough, the hall lights flickered briefly, drawing everyone's eyes upward. A sudden wave of tension swept through the room. Could she maintain focus under this new, unpredictable pressure? Could her gift survive not just the expectations of the famous pianist and the crowd, but the unexpected twists of fate itself? The next few notes would reveal whether her talent was enough to conquer both music and circumstance, or if the world's doubt would finally catch up to her. She took a deep breath, letting the sudden chaos fade into the background. The discordant note that had shocked everyone was no longer a mistake. It became the spark for something extraordinary. Her fingers moved with lightning precision, weaving a complex melody that twisted and turned in ways the audience had never imagined. Each note built on the last, transforming tension into beauty, doubt into awe. The famous pianist sat frozen, eyes wide, realizing he was witnessing a performance that transcended skill. It was pure genius. The hall was completely silent, except for the piano. People leaned forward, hearts pounding, as the blind girl's music seemed to tell a story of struggle, perseverance, and triumph all at once. Critics stopped scribbling, audience members held their breath, and even her mentor felt tears prick his eyes. Every expectation had been shattered. What had started as play just for fun had become a performance that demanded respect, admiration, and disbelief all at once. And just when it seemed the moment couldn't grow any more incredible, she hit the final chord, and it didn't just resonate in the hall. The sound seemed to ripple outward, almost as if the room itself was holding onto her music, amplifying it in a way no one could explain. The famous pianist slowly stood, applauding,